Why is that still playing?
Gotta love that slight StreamYard delay.
Kind of sounds holiday-like.
Why is it still going?
I don't know.
We're live.
You
This is
have
like
the
the best
YouTube
start to
open.
a live, right? Hi everyone. You know, we're the best meeting up. Yeah.
What is that horrible noise?
Who has their...
So apparently it's Maria.
All right.
Because the sound kept going till I muted her. So if you do, for fun facts for those watching, if you use StreamYard, there is about a 15 to 20 second delay, which means if you have YouTube open showing your live stream so that you can monitor those comments a little quicker, you will get the audio there. It feeds back. It becomes a really creepy loop, and it sounds like that. So hi, friends.
There you go. Best egg tech.
It's safe to give Maria volume again.
That's what it was.
Sounds like that. Oh, so hi, friends.
I think Maria has to close her YouTube tab.
Yeah, or you just mute the YouTube stream. That's how you fix that, friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So, should we go to our next slide? I think we have an intro thing, possibly.
Yeah. And welcome to the Christmas final or finale. How do you say it?
It's finale. Or finally.
Oh, finally.
Well, finally, finale. I mean, that works too.
The year that was. Someone want to read that for accessibility reasons?
I will.
Sure.
As we reflect on the year that was, the highs and lows, the roller coaster of the world as we know it, let's reflect and celebrate. And with that, our gratitude for the AUA community. Ask us anything.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Introduce ourselves, location, job title, role.
Do you love there's just two of us on there, guys?
If for some reason you've never met us, this crazy group, Rick is our resident stand-up comedian.
Or something.
That's probably a better way to put it, yeah.
So let's just go on down. Jenna, you go first.
I'm Jenna Ashley. I am an instructional technologist at Old Dominion University in Hampton Roads, Virginia.
I am Rick Ballou. My new role is Technology Integration Specialist in Minneapolis Public Schools in Minnesota.
Sound a little more Midwest with that for me.
I tried. Minnesota.
That was pretty impressive. I'm Mel /Melissa /whatever. Nothing's really changed. I mean, with my roles, I have no new roles like these guys. I still teach math, so I try to in Colombia. And yeah, I'm Australian. I think all of you know that by now. But yeah, there you go. That's me. And Pili, let's go.
Hi, I'm Pilar Hernandez. People call me Pili because that's how you say it to people who are called like me. I live in Monterrey, Mexico, and I'm a chemistry teacher. That's what my job title is. I think that's it, right? What else? Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm from Lakes Entrance, Victoria, Australia. I'm a STEM specialist teacher in primary school. No new roles either.
And of course, I have to comment on this slide right here that clearly it's just the Australians that get to put their Bitmojis on this slide. Okay, so you see me being the potato.
I like.
Oh, hang on, you just wheel past it. It's so sad. Come on,
Well,
everyone wants to like me as a potato.
Well, you were the only ones allowed. You told us we couldn't. I remember.
They were very mean. They were very mean about it.
Don't spread rumors.
So our agenda for this evening during this 4-hour session is a simple, informal session where we're going to share a win, a wish, and a challenge, not in that order. And then we're going to invite discussion, not from anyone here that's watching, unless you want to. That's cool. Feel free to leave that in the chat and we'll respond and stuff. Otherwise, we'll just blah, blah, blah at you for a little bit. So here we go.
Let's go. Hi again. That's me. Yay. Saying hi from my computer. So My win. I'm gonna talk about my win from last school year. So I had to make my students work in teams a lot because when they would work individual, they would still try to do it as a team. So instead, I said like, fine, you want to work in a team? Let's do this. But I put like a little condition, which was um, to rotate teams, like to can't make team with the same person twice. So they had to, get to know each other more, to choose different people to work with. And in the end, when we did like a final project at the end of the year, we had very good results because they were able to choose people rather by their strengths and how they complemented each other's weaknesses than by choosing their friends like they usually would do. So yeah, I got very good results in that aspect. So that was my win. That was the only thing that I can say that yay. It was great. And my challenge was to create connections with them, like rapport in between myself and my students, because the only time that we would see each other would be during class online. And the getting to know you that usually happens when you bump into them in the hallways or during recess, early in the morning or later at the exit, wouldn't happen online. So even though I had periods of time that were assigned for doing that, kids were not really open for it. We actually ended up having to dedicate a period of the day to do different activities so that we would try to attempt to get this connection going. It didn't really work. So that was a challenge during the year. And my wish for 2022 is that I hope that we could be able to make some um, real innovations in education, and mostly like in our individual schools, like school leaders would actually listen to us. Innovation doesn't necessarily mean to use more the computer or the cell phone in class or making just gamification in your classroom. It's not the only thing that you can do. It's about balance and developing the skills in the students. And not always is going to require technology. Even though I like to do things with technology, I don't always use technology for it. So I hope, and this is my wish, I hope that school leaders where we work, at least where I work, would actually listen to teachers for a change instead of, just making decisions without checking like they usually do. So thank you.
Yay! I
That's good.
I was looking at your win and I thought to myself, that you're that mean teacher. Like I gotta partner with that guy and those people. Oh, but I can see where that really sparked a lot of cool stuff to happen. So that's cool.
Yeah, but I am that mean teacher.
She
I don't hide it. And they know that I don't hide it. I actually forewarned them, like at the beginning of the school year. I am this teacher. I have this fame. It is true. But I always specify whatever I do is always to help you out. It's never in detriment of your grades or your person. It's not something that I'm going to do that way.
That's awesome. Cool.
sometimes our friends need that little swift kick in the booty.
I have a former student that used to say like, mine was tough love.
Mm-hmm.
Tough love, miss. He would say. So yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They appreciate it later, though.
Mm-hmm.
They do. They always come back a couple of years later, say like, "Oh, miss, thank you because of you." Blah blah blah, blah. And then the parents too. I've had written. I can say congratulations, I guess. But like letters from parents whose kids already graduated that write to the school to say that they appreciate a lot the work that they did with me, because the kid actually says that it was because of me that they did better later on.
That's
So
great.
yeah, bad thing is that I don't get a bonus like in retroactively. So
No.
thank you. They save my job every time they want to kick me, out. That's actually the only good thing about it.
Sometimes those letters are the things that keep you from quitting your own self.
Truth.
I don't
I
think
don't
I've
know.
ever wanted to actually quit. because usually it's I think I'm gonna be fired because somebody complains like really badly and they want me fired. But then
Mm.
something like this comes in and it's like, well, we'll deal with the parents to calm them down and you're gonna be fine. It's more like it has happened at least twice.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Jenna.
So, oh wow, I forget how old that picture is. It's before I chopped all my hair off. So my wins. I took a new job. I have left the classroom. I was doing secondary inclusion math, and now I'm working in higher ed as an instructional technologist. So I'm helping professors use technology effectively, hopefully more effectively. I earned my Canvas Certified Educator, which is supposed to be about a 10 to 12 month program. I did in 2.
Nice.
And I did my first conference presentation, and I didn't cry, which for those of y'all who have ever done conference presentations, wow, that's a lot of people staring at you all at once, because at least these lovely folks are on the other side of a screen, and all I see is whatever you type in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Shannon. But I mean, if I look at last school year, I had one student particularly that has not been a traditionally good student, just needed somebody to stay with him and kind of nudge him the right way and help him get organized and prioritize and all those things that we expect kids to be able to do by high school that we don't actually explicitly teach them how to do. And he passed all 5 of his SOLs.
Yeah.
Which was a lot, a whole lot in the middle of a pandemic. SOLs are what we call our standardized tests in my state. Probably the biggest challenges were supporting, we're just doing our LMS switch from Blackboard to Canvas. And I'm the only person at my job that uses Canvas regularly, or in some cases at all. So it's been a heck of a switch. We have what we call our faculty champions starting it in January in the spring semester, and everybody will be in Canvas starting the summer term in May. So I've got 5 months to train the whole faculty of a major university. This will be a party. But really the biggest challenge for me has been getting people to realize that accessibility helps everyone. And you will hear me talk about it a lot because it gets left behind a lot of the times. People think that if they don't have a student with a disability or with accommodation requirements, then they don't have to do anything for accessibility. And a lot of people don't realize that it's federal law here in America. And you can get sued as a classroom teacher, not just your district or your school. And that's how you get the admin to buy into it for the people that are trying to get that pushed through. But my wish list for 2020 is for us a smooth transition to our new LMS, really getting more people willing to make their content accessible because it's the right thing to do, not just because the threat of lawsuits, and really just everyone to be safe, because it's been a hot mess express ride this last, I'm going to go ahead and round up slightly and say 2 years now. I'm liking some of these wins in the chat. Steph R had her first, part of a published book, getting her book published in her new job, because that was huge. And Abbott getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, that long COVID is a butt kicker. So I'm like reading all these. Surviving is the big one right now for everybody, and then getting more creativity in the lesson and learning expression. I like it. For those that don't know, if by some chance you just wandered into this, Shannon is OG Ask Us Anything team. and a forever member. So we love Shannon.
Yeah, we miss it.
Cora says her win is she finally destroyed the stuffed toy that squeaked at her so rudely. There she is, the beautiful Cora de Corgi.
So cool. That transition that you talked about, Jenna, oh boy, that's going to be a whole thing. So I can see that's a challenge and a wish. Good luck.
I'll have you know, Bran heard me say Cora and immediately came over and started trying to paw up here to see Cora. That is the pawing that you hear. The clicking is his nails. Like, mom, I want to see her. Let me see her.
She'll be back.
Kiki is a model teacher this year and working on that coaching curriculum.
Nice. Good stuff.
And there you go. 1 and 2 and part of a GEG. I like it.
Awesome.
Mel, yes, we miss you.
Oh dear. Okay, well, I'm going to keep Sheila's thing up there because I want to shout out Sheila because she is amazing. If you don't know her, you need to go and connect with her. She is one of the amazing captains of GEG Guate, which is an amazing GEG. They are doing so many different things. They actually had an in-person meetup for the first time ever, like a couple of weeks ago. Like the whole leadership team got together, like in person. They recorded this promo video thing together, and I was like, wow. And they said yes, it was their first time all meeting together, which I thought was awesome. They had to wait for like all the vaccinations and all that sort of stuff, but then I thought that was really cool. And hopefully one day, you know, some of us will be able to actually meet each other, you know, face to face. It's pretty cool. I mean, they're all in the same country, obviously, but still, I mean, it's possible. I know Pili also, didn't you meet up with some of your people at some stage?
Yeah, when COVID restrictions lifted around July, I believe, before we had like a third wave. So right after the second wave, there was like a period of calmness in the COVID cases and some restrictions were lifted. So we decided to get together and we saw each other. So my local GG already found time and place to meet in person. But after that, we haven't done anything in person yet.
Mm.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool.
That's exciting.
And yes, and there's also Kiki, who's also one of my people, or not one of my people. I mean, I shouldn't call her my people, but anyway, one of my connections from Twitter. Let's just say that. And she's intense in a good way, like super passionate about everything. And
you could say she's one of our people because she's one of the PLN, right?
Very nice, Philly. That's good fix right there. Yes, good luck on starting to become a Google coach. She's doing like 1 bazillion million different things at the same time. She's a bit crazy in that way. Good times though. All right. Yes, there's all my Bitmojis where I look amazing. Can we go to the next slide? I can't remember what I wrote for my things there. Thanks. What is that? Yes. Okay, so a win, apparently. Yes. Okay, it's coming back to me now. Okay, so I was saying like kids being, well, I'm just going to read out my slide because, you know, that's what best presenters do. Yes. Okay, so students willing to explore and use different tech tools they had not experienced previously. So it's very interesting, okay, because, you know, you think that, you know, coming into this new year, well, for those that, well, okay, all of us except for Maria work in the August, June schedule, whatever. But yeah, for me, like this year coming into August, I sort of assumed that the kiddos that I was going to have, like the grade 9s, were exposed to all the things, you know, the previous year. Because I'd basically exposed my students to all the things, whether they liked it or not. They're probably overwhelmed and died somewhere. But actually I saw them at school, so they're still alive, which is very good. And anyway, so these students, they didn't really they hadn't actually been exposed to that many. So I was really happy with them for being able to still be willing to learn at all these different tools that, you know, that I was using. I did decide to, you know, sort of minimize a little bit, you know, the amount of tools that I was using. Because if you know me, I like to use a bazillion different things, which probably gives everyone a headache. But yeah, I did decide on a few core ones. Yeah, a few core ones and the kids, like, they were like, oh, I really like this one. There were a couple of kids that they did say and some feedback to me like, actually, this is a bit much. Okay, we did so many tools this year, but the rest were like, yeah, we're all good. So I was like, okay, maybe a couple of kids need a bit more support and stuff. But anyway, that's my win. I'm really happy that most of my kiddos are pretty open to learning and just I don't know, diving in, you know, to explore different things, which is pretty awesome. Ooh, Steph Howe's in there, so I just got distracted by by the chat. Okay, challenge. Yes, some good times here. I don't know how you guys went with this, but yeah, communication with kids. I don't know. It was, I think, like last year, like the first full year of COVID times. I got used to kids like being able to respond to emails or respond to comments like pretty, I don't know, pretty consistently, and we had a good communication thing going. But then this year, when we came back to fully in person, there wasn't that. Like there was almost nothing. Like no one was really, like it was pretty rare that anyone emailed me for anything. But I guess it's, they're getting to know me, how I am and that sort of thing. But also just getting them back into routines. Like even now, I haven't been, I was absent from work for like 5 weeks due to surgery. So I just went back on Friday. So that was another weird thing. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow going back into work. Anyway, I got sidetracked. So what are we talking about? Okay, yes, routines. Okay, so again, my students, like 5 weeks, I haven't been there. So getting back into the routines again now is going to be another challenge. It's going to be interesting. We only have a couple of days of like real classes this week, and then we're going to go on a break. So I don't know. It has been a bit of a challenge with communication. I don't know about you guys, how your communication stuff has been going on there with your people. Do you want to say anything?
Communication was always a challenge for me because my subject was optional during remote learning. So even though they experience the same sort of platform, they always go through their Google Classroom to start with. They just don't get in that routine when it's remote learning, unfortunately.
I wanted to say something about the routine once we're in person, because kids that are now coming to the school in person haven't been to school since they were like, I have my kids are ninth graders, so since they were like in seventh grade, right, or beginning of seventh grade, which in my school, because it ends in ninth grade, was like the beginning of the last steps. They were just coming into the third floor. They were like new to the area. When they came back the first time, they wouldn't know where things were. They weren't like familiar with things because they hadn't been there for long enough for them to remember stuff. And so things like regular rules of behavior and stuff that you would say like, come on, you know this stuff, they wouldn't remember. So yeah, routines have been something to work alongside them and have like to be patient with them for them to remember how things are supposed to be in the way that the school is structured. And the communication thing, uh, if I understood correctly, Mel, you mean to say when you were online, you had better communications, that they were more responsive online?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think they were used to communicating in that particular way. But then when we came back to fully face-to-face, I think they just thought the communication would be like just in the classroom and nothing like
So,
outside of that, I guess, in a way.
so could it be like they're taking like a break from being connected online? It's like they get home and they're like, forget it, I'm not checking my emails. Could that be it?
Maybe, yeah. Or even at school, they don't check the emails either. That's another.
Because I feel that way. Like I get home and I'm just like put my backpack down and like that's it until tomorrow.
We joke, but honestly, like I saw a post where a teacher, it was higher ed, but they had put $50 in a locker, and they had put the locker number and the combination in their documentation, and it was still there at the end of the semester, which just tells you how well students read the emails and the syllabus. And the wonderful Katie, I got to meet last weekend, by the way. I'm going to completely interrupt. I got to meet Katie last weekend at Visti, and all I can say is she is absolutely amazing. And I cannot keep track of all of the wonderful things she is doing. So if you want anything ed techie, go. She's in the chat.
Oh, I saw a bit of her on my EdTech Live with Fonts. That's a very nice episode. So people should check it out. I'm gonna have to go, guys. It was great to be part of AUA one more time. I have some issues that I need to resolve, so I need to log off. So thank you so much for this, Maria. This was your baby.
Yes.
Thanks for being a part of it. It's an awesome team. I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. And you guys, Hope to see you soon, some
Yeah.
other way.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Soon. Ciao.
See ya. Thanks.
Perfectly. So, okay. So I'm going to continue then, I guess, with my amazingness. So my wish basically for the coming year, or even just continuing for the rest of this year, is just to continue to try to build and maintain relationships, basically. Like, relationships, I think, are key. Like, this past year since COVID, that's what I've learned. And if you don't have that relationship or any sort of connection with the kiddos, or even like workmates or parents or that sort of thing, you just, I don't know, classes are just more difficult, to be able to teach and to be able to engage if you don't have that connection. So it's something that I'm working on, that I have to basically reestablish with having been absent for 5 weeks. So coming back and then seeing what's been going on, basically. And then also reestablishing like my connection with parents, because I was doing like a weekly email to parents and that sort of thing, which obviously I haven't done for the last 5 weeks. And so, yeah, I need to also decide about the tools and stuff that I really want to use for sure. Just maybe get a bit more feedback from kids again, once I've sort of reconnected with them in some sort of way. It's just a really weird time of year right now. And I know that people are talking about how it's like, who is not exhausted? I'm not actually that exhausted because I haven't been in the classroom for 5 weeks. Just been, putting my feet up, literally, trying to recover. Exhausting in another sort of sense. Exhausting in the sense that I wasn't able to communicate with kids for like over a month. That was a different type of exhaustion. Just being able to like resist the temptation to reply to things or to whatever, to engage or anything like that. But yes, relationships for now. I think for me, that's the big thing coming back. And then in January, when we come back, that will be another big doo-doo to focus on. But that's my stuff. I don't know how you guys have been going with building your relationships with people. I know that you guys all have different roles now. I mean, so it's very different, but maybe like relationships with your colleagues and stuff, I think that's really important. I did not say dodo, I said doodah. Anyway. Anyways, okay. I'm getting distracted by the chat, clearly. But yeah, I don't know what sort of relationships you guys have right now with your different stakeholder people, even though maybe you're not engaging with students directly as much.
Yeah, it's great. Oh.
There was no hesitation there. It is different though. Like,
it is.
Sometimes people that should probably be listening aren't listening or don't want to listen or make an active choice not to listen. And I think that's the same way a lot of, classroom teachers feel right now. Like she was saying earlier, you're trying to get people to actually pay attention to the people that are in the trenches who are doing it and what they need. And that's the same way for, and start, tech coaches like us who are trying to get, everybody's always trying to get the person above them to actually listen. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll be moving into the new year after Christmas, so it will be all that rebuilding of relationships again. Both we've got some new staff, the leadership team, a little bit of change, and then of course new preppies coming in, and then any new students. So it'll be good.
So your whole new school year starts January.
Yeah, well, at the end of Jan it starts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're Jan to December.
Ooh, I like that bouncy thing, that bouncy GIF. That's fun.
Yeah. Bit of colour. Okay. For me, one of my biggest wins was the accelerated ICT program I did with my STEM club students. And even though it was only 6 students, they had to think of a world problem and come up with a solution involving microbits. And one of my students in that has a lot of difficulties with reading and writing. And he has learnt over the last 2 years ways using Chromebook and the accessibility features to be a real independent learner. And the way that he presented for this was awesome. It was quite emotional for me to watch his achievement. They all created websites, so the requirement was only to do a PowerPoint or Google Slide, but I got them to create their own website. They were able to have an idea, use a microbit, present it to a panel of judges, able to answer questions themselves out of nowhere. It was just awesome. So for me, that was it may seem a small win, but it was a big win for me. I was really, really proud of them.
Cool.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
small. That's huge.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was so lovely. My challenge is maintaining momentum and engagement in continuing or embracing EdTech tools. It's a problem that was here before COVID, and it will continue to be for quite a while, I think, in this area. It's a bit slow in the uptake of EdTech, but it is increasing. And COVID gave it a bit of a kick in the butt for this area to do that. But it's always an issue of reluctance, of time poor, and so it's a bit of a vicious circle of them being able to, if they could embrace these tools, they would realise that it would save time, but they don't have the time to learn them. So it's a catch-22. But I will keep working on that challenge. My wish for next year is to continue to grow my PLN, absorb new learning, and I've also been accepted into the Teacher Excellence Program. So I hope through that will extend my PLN. I will have opportunities to absorb new learning, but I hope that it will give me more weight in my own thinking by networking with other like-minded individuals, and that then East Gippsland, because some of the training will be in Melbourne, so metro. I'm rural coastal, low socio area, so maybe that will give a bit more weight to my own ideas as well, and hopefully encourage more embracing of EdTech.
That's awesome. I wanted to go back to your challenge that you said, talking about, trying to maintain momentum, and trying to make sure you still, embracing the EdTech, not going back to the old ways. Because there's this lady, Roberta, I don't know, she's from Brazil, but she works in Mexico right now. She's part of the GG Mexico group, but she started this thing called this hashtag not going back, which is about not going back to just the old ways, just the paper thing, because that's what's happened. So a lot of people across Latin America, at least, it's probably also in the States and everywhere in the world, that once they went back to person, a lot of people just went to the photocopier, started printing out all the worksheets and that sort of thing. And I mean, the kids have laptops and stuff, but they're not using it as I don't know, the way that they were during the remote learning phase.
Yeah. Yeah, and using PDFs, uploading PDFs instead of making it interactive and that sort of jazz.
Instead of making it accessible. Oh, wait, was that voice getting out again?
Yeah. Yeah. But we will get there. Awareness is the first thing.
I want to, while you say awareness, I really love a point Steph made. New teachers are struggling because most of their student teaching was either virtual or hybrid. And now they can't even go and watch people in action because we're I don't know about everywhere else, but I know here we are dying for subs. So a lot of people are giving up their plannings to go cover other classes because nobody wants to sub right now. So they weren't given the usual experiences that even then still can be difficult for new teachers, and they can't even get that support now. And so it's a lot.
Yeah.
try to figure out on your own. So I think Steph said they were doing like a classroom management cohort for the teachers to try to get like a course going for them. So that's a really good idea too, to kind of support them.
Yeah, we had issues here in Australia of uni students. They weren't able to do their placement because of COVID, and then also our we call them CRTs, your subs, so casual relief teachers, are hard to get in this area as it is. But then due to vaccination status, it's become even harder because you have to be fully vaxxed here in Australia to teach in a school.
Right. And yeah, I was noticing that Steph was talking about the fact that, we've been told that, teachers don't want to have like the kids just sucked just solely into the devices, but it's trying to get them to see tech differently. It's not just about just being on the device. It's like a balance, you can still use paper and pen for some activities, you don't have to use tech for everything, but it's still just seeing the value of technology in classrooms. Like it's not just useful for virtual teaching. It's also useful for just while you're in the classroom, like how Billy was talking about like collaboration and that sort of thing earlier. Like there's a lot of great tools for doing that, especially because it just depends on where you are, I guess, with the distancing and stuff. Sometimes you can't have kids too close together to actually collaborate, but you can still get them to collaborate on online platforms, which I think is great. But I guess, it's a process. It's just we just do what we can, just keep going with what we're doing, basically. Keep growing if possible.
I think the more variety of tools that they're exposed to, one, they've got that choice and voice going on really strong. You're looking at accessibility the more that you expose them to. But I think the more you expose them to as well, they can learn to be creators rather than consumers. And they're in there. I have 3 teenagers, and it is very much a consumer in there, or just that expectation for their age group to be a consumer rather than a creator. So if we teach them to be creators more and more in the classroom, then hopefully that will trickle into their outside of school world.
Cool. I'm going to move on to this person. Oh, I should have changed my Bitmoji to the beard. Oh, well. Meh. All right. I didn't just throw these together minutes before we got on. I definitely thought about them. But if I had, what I wrote here was my win, and I would say new job, and then in parentheses, jobs. So for 20-ish years, I don't want to get into specifics, but 23. I taught 5th grade instrumental music in Bloomington, Minnesota. And partway through October, there was an opportunity that became available in Minneapolis for me to be a technology integration specialist. So I took the leap and left my district that I've been in for 20 plus years and moved to Minneapolis. So that's my new job, which is kind of fun. It's got 3 parts to it. Part 1 is there's a brand new online school that was created. And so the online school, there are 4 technology integration TOSAs. So the 4 of us for the entire city of Minneapolis with 78 schools and 3,000 teachers. Anyway, whatever. There should be more. There's only 4 of us. That neither here nor there. Anyway, the 4 of us for the online school, we each adopted about 10 teachers to be just their go-tos. So part of my job is the online school. The other part is we've created a coaching cycle program that is using as its base the Google for Education coaching cycle. And so we are coaching teachers through that, which is tied to something that Minneapolis does called ProPay. So if they get through all the coursework and they do all the observations and collect enough data, they'll write a paper and it moves them on their pay scale the way it would for 15 master's credit courses. So Minneapolis does that. And then finally, the third part is creating webinars for the staff. So when the paraprofessionals need to remember how to do Google Meet, I'll put something together like that. So it's been really cool. And I mentioned jobs in parentheses. Katie, for example, knows what my other job is. ISTE has hired me to do some of as an independent contractor, I get to do some of the training. If you go through to be an ISTE certified educator, ISTE is now providing that training, and I'm one of their trainers. So that's been pretty cool. My challenge, I guess, would be all those things I just said, because they're all new, and I'm figuring it out as I go along. I enjoy it. It's been super great. Honestly, this is my office for 4 days out of the week. With this coworker who's growling at me because I'm not petting her enough. Yeah, sorry. And then so that's my challenge, is getting used to the new job or whatever. And then finally, my wish is to just keep growing my PLN. I've gotten to know so many great people through Global GEG and all the things. I want to just keep growing it, I guess. The end.
What have your colleagues been like? Has it been weird though? Because like you said, you're mostly at home, right? So do you interact with them much, or?
Great question. Yeah, actually, we have 1 day a week where we go into the building, and that's taken with meetings. But like what you see us doing here is what I'm doing like a lot of the day. So I'll be on a meeting with one of the other technology integration specialists, TOSAs. Then I'll be on a meeting with one of the coach people, because when we are going through the coaching cycle, there's a pre-observation, then the observation where I actually get to go in and see them do stuff. And then there's the post-observation, which is done again like this. So the majority of the time it's done like here. There's an app I installed, and it's called Rescue Time. Cora hears noises. Really? Come on. It's called Rescue Time, and it'll tell me what app I use the most. And it's Microsoft Teams and Google Meet because of what I'm doing.
So how do you balance it all out for yourself? Because that's a lot of tech time for you to be sitting at a desk. What do you do for yourself to your own health?
Nothing. I do nothing for myself. I spend all my time doing tech stuff. The rest of the family just got home from holiday shopping, so she's losing her mind.
She wants to know where her presents are.
Yeah, we bring her with when we shop for her, so we'll do that later.
Rick did get his real estate license. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could mention that too. I decided that would be something fun to do as well. So, because like it's training and you get a badge. So
Rick and I collect badges like some people collect Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards. Wow.
It's still a thing.
Yeah.
Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still cards.
Yeah. In primary school. Yeah.
You say primary school, honey. I'm 35.
Well, if you find that really good shiny one that's impossible to get, that's a huge win. So I get it.
Some of these things are like thousands of dollars worth.
They're the new Beanie Babies. Did you guys have Beanie Babies in Australia?
Are those
like Cabbage Patch
no, those
Kids?
the bears? Those the bears?
No, Beanie Babies were a thing that Hallmark
Handy.
sold that became crazy.
They're made by Thai.
Yeah, and they became super popular to the point where like people were selling them for thousands of dollars. It was insane.
Yep. And then now they're like,
yeah, now they're worth nothing. They're not worth the beans that they're made from. But anyone else have
like
stuff they want to say?
Plushies.
Okay, I just want to going back on to EdTech Life just for a moment. My EdTech Life, that's fun. Sorry, I just got distracted. Sorry. this point about Katie saying how it's difficult to get people to commute to like longer professional learning opportunities right now. I have not been to an in-person conference like ever. So I don't
Oh, she meant commit. Commit.
Commit. Commit.
I mean, both are true. I'm not gonna lie. It was so I'm in Hampton Roads and I went to Visti, which was Roanoke, which was every bit of 4.5 hours each way last weekend. And that was a haul. But also like I'm working on my ISTE certification. Which is it's a little bit of prep and then like 6 weeks of regular meetings and then the portfolio you have like 6 months, so it's really long term.
There's a lot.
And it's just like it is, and then I find myself putting it on my to-do list every day and putting it back on there the next day.
I will tell you, the way I was able to get through my portfolio was I waited till the last minute and frantically did everything all at once. So that's one way to do it.
My 6 months is December.
There you go. Yeah. See,
guess what I'm spending my first part of winter break doing.
Yep, that's actually that a lot of people do that.
Judy's got her first in-person conference tomorrow since 2020 February. Oh lordy! Oh, you heard Cora barking, huh, Bran?
Super exciting. All the best to Judy for sure. I don't know.
Well,
has anyone actually asked anything?
No, mostly we've just been chatting.
Oh, look, editable icons. Free graphics.
And free graphics. For those that didn't know, this is a Slides Mania, which we cannot
Slides Mania
tell you how amazing they are.
And this is one of like the old school original winter templates from like when Paula first originally started up Slides Mania. This is like one of the first ones, first themed ones that she made.
Just came out, and they're amazing as always.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys need to actually get onto that. That is, she is awesome. Do we have a thank you slide, or what?
We did. I just cruised by it because I really wanted to make sure we mentioned Paula. There it is.
She's awesome.
And again, look at the Bitmojis here, guys.
That's the Australian.
Well, you threatened us with violence if we put Bitmojis on.
Okay.
That sounds wonderful, right?
We do love Paula. She is amazing.
Anyway. But yes, thank you to everyone for the great chat that we had this evening, good reflective times, and really appreciate everyone participating in the chat today. We're worried that we might not get anyone and we just talk amongst ourselves for like half an hour or something instead, but that wasn't the case. You're all awesome supporters who all just came out to hear out our finale, our final farewell. We're never coming back, apparently. We'll be around, but not together like this, or maybe we'll, who knows? I don't know what I'm talking about now. It could be anything. But anyway, my point of this was to say a big thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to this amazing group that's right here. But of course, this would be pointless without those that are in the chat. So we do appreciate you guys originally for sending in questions, just participating and just like asking us stuff and then really getting us to think more like, interesting. It's been an interesting ride.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to hit the outro thing. So that'll be cool.
Thanks, AUA team. Thanks, supporters.
He always does it to Mel. This is the one time he's going to do it to me.
There we go.
What is this?
All the answer his name. It's going to be correct.
Right, here's the outro.
Thank you so much for coming to today's Global GEG presentation. Make sure you go to our website at globalgeg.org to find more information and ways to connect with us. One way you can connect with us is going to the website and joining our Google group. This will allow you to get a weekly email about upcoming events that Global GEG is hosting. Don't forget you can share this recording with other educators or revisit it at any time at the same YouTube link. If you need a certificate of attendance, make sure you fill out the feedback form. Thank you again for joining us at Global GEG.
Why is this